Hello, I'm Otto and welcome to another Factorio tutorial, and in this one we will be focusing on nuclear. So we are going to be lightly discussing some of the basics of nuclear power, and then we are going to be setting up a 2-reactor build, a 4-reactor, 6-reactor, and finally an 8-reactor build. So I have some Covrex enrichment going on down here. This is not necessary to set up power, but it is something that I tend to prefer to get before I start making nuclear power. You will definitely need to unlock nuclear power here with blue science, which gets you the nuclear reactors, the heat exchangers that we need, the heat pipes to transfer the heat, and steam turbines, as well as the ability to make uranium fuel cells with iron plates, uranium-235 and uranium-238. I would also recommend that if you need to at least start working towards getting the nuclear fuel reprocessing so that you can take the depleted uranium fuel cells and turn them back into uranium-238. That way you don't have this pile up of depleted uranium fuel cells. So when we talk about the nuclear reactors, they will generally produce 40 megawatts worth of power, and they get a neighbor bonus. So what is a neighbor bonus? So for every nuclear reactor that is touching, it gets 100% bonus to the amount of power that it can output. So on the corner here, this one is 40 megawatts plus 40 megawatts plus 40 megawatts. So this is 3 nuclear reactors worth of power out of this corner. And to kind of help visualize that a little bit better, I do have a setup here. So this is 3 in the corner, 3 more in the corner. This is 4 on the side, 4, 4, 4, and then in the corners again, 3 and 3. So anytime you have a corner, you can just assume that, as long as it's at least a 2x2, any of the corners are 3, and any of the sides are 4 because it includes itself and the 3 around it. So this is 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, 20, 24, and 28 reactors worth of power coming out of this. That's something that we will need to keep in mind. And now we are going to go create a 2-reactor build. Okay, so for our two reactor build, we need 2 reactors. They're going to be placed together like this. And we are going to need heat exchangers. So the heat exchangers accept the heat that is produced by the nuclear reactors, and their heat, they need to be at least 500 degrees before they will start producing the steam that we are chasing, which is a 500-degree steam. And we are able to do that through heat pipes. So the heat exchanger can produce 10 megawatts of power. It consumes 10 megawatts of heat coming out of the nuclear reactors. So each of the nuclear reactors can produce 40 megawatts. So we need 4 heat exchangers for every 1 nuclear reactor. So in this case, we have 2 plus a neighborhood bonus for each one of them. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 nuclear reactors worth of power. We need 4 heat exchangers for each one of the reactors and their, each of their bonuses. So that means we're going to need 16 heat exchangers total with two nuclear reactors. So the heat exchangers are going to be producing, once they get up to temperature, they're going to be producing 103 steam per second. And so 16 heat exchangers, 103 is going to be 1,648 steam. And to consume that steam, we need steam turbines. The steam turbines consume 60 steam per second. So this is producing 103. This is consuming 60. Obviously, this is pretty close to a 1-to-2 ratio. Not quite. It is a little off. So with the 1,648 steam being produced, that is enough to supply 27.46 steam turbines, or basically 28. So for our 2-reactor build, we're going to have some heat pipes coming out. We are also going to need some logistics to be able to deal with the fuel cells and the depleted fuel cells. So we will need fuel cells coming in, and we're going to need to filter this for depleted fuel cells coming out. Incoming into the nuclear reactors, and we will need outgoing. So what's going to happen here is this is going to put the fuel cells on the inside lanes. The reactors will be putting out onto the outside lane. So the outside is for the depleted, the inside is for the actual fuel. And then this will grab all of the depleted fuel cells and ship it back to be reprocessed once you get nuclear fuel reprocessing unlocked. We are also going to connect the inserters to the nuclear reactors. And we're going to read the temperature because the heat exchangers need to be at least let's say 501 degrees before they will start producing their steam. And the nuclear reactor will get up to 1,000, but since it is just going to be constantly consuming fuel, it is going to stay at 1,000, but we can actually allow that to drop. So we're going to let this drop to a certain amount and then insert fuel. It's just a way of conserving fuel over time. It's not 100% necessary. You probably have enough uranium fuel, I guess uranium ore. You probably have enough uranium ore that even if you were to use an 8 reactor build, you're probably going to get to the next power source before you actually end up consuming all of the uranium. So I still do like to limit this though. So we are going to override the stack size on the inserter that is inserting into the reactor. And we are reading the temperature, which is T. And we're going to tell this inserter to enable if T is less than 550. We're going to copy and paste that and read temperature here. That is override stack size. Okay, so that covers the central section. As for the heat exchangers, so we need 16 heat exchangers. So we're going to have 4, and that is 8. And I'm going to copy this. And that is going to be our other 8. So that is our 16 total. We're going to connect the pipe, the outputs with pipes. Since these are each producing 103 per second and the steam turbines consume 60 per second, we want to make sure that the steam output is relatively balanced. Now, these don't have to be like right here. With the steam, we don't lose heat over time like we do with the heat pipes and the heat exchangers and the nuclear reactors. You could technically take the steam turbines like pretty far out as you want, and do it like something like this if you really wanted to. I prefer to keep them all kind of close together and nice and tight. That is largely up to you. So we need 28 steam turbines total. So I like to just kind of line them up. And we're going to have 7 on each corner. So that's 7, 14, 21, and 28. And then we are going to connect them, the ends, with pipes just to kind of make sure that it is, nice and evenly distributed. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to vertically flip, line that up, horizontally flip, line that up, and vertically flip that one and line that up. That is going to be our 28 turbines, our 16 heat exchangers with our 2 reactor build. So we need power. Making sure to cover all of the steam turbines and our inserters. And we're just going to put these at the end to kind of just keep them connected together, and then a little bit of power to get us to the network, and we are good to go. So last thing we need is water. It doesn't matter which side you get your water in from, so I like to just you know, whenever I make a blueprint, I like to set it up in a way that you can get the water from either side. And that is our 2 nuclear reactors set up. So we're going to take a blueprint of this and move on to the 4 reactor. So now we're going to be doing a 4 reactor build, and I forgot to mention, but the 2 reactor build is going to be producing 160 megawatts worth of power. The 4 reactor build will be producing a whopping 480 megawatts worth of power. We're going to have a similar setup. We want to have a looping system so that we can get rid of the fuel cells and bring in, get rid of the depleted fuel cells and bring in the fuel cells. We need to override the stack size and read the temperature. Enable if temperature is less than 550. Copy, paste, paste, paste. Okay, so with 4 nuclear reactors, you remember from the diagram I had earlier, the corners for the 2x2 or the at least 2x2 is going to be worth 3. So this is 3, 6, 9, and 12 reactors worth, which means that we're going to need 48 heat exchangers. The 48 heat exchangers will be producing 4,944 steam. The 4,944 steam will be converted into 82.4 steam turbines, basically 83. So we're going to be using 83 steam turbines. So to kind of start this off, we're going to have 4 heat exchangers. We are leaving room to have heat pipes come through. We're also going to be leaving room for steam pipes and heat pipes here. So that is going to be our 12 heat exchangers. So we're going to copy this, vertically flip, horizontally flip, and vertically flip. So that is now 48 heat exchangers, and we just need the steam turbines. So for these steam turbines, I'm going to be connecting the steam outputs here. And we are going, where do I want to start this? Ooh, that is not quite going to fit. Okay, that's fine. Oh no, my poor bots. Okay, so we just need a section of 20. So this is going to be 20. And these are all getting steam through here. We could wrap this all the way around if we wanted to. It's not really that big of a deal, or even just do the ends like that. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. As long as everything is connected, we are good to go. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, horizontally flip, vertically flip, and horizontally flip. So this is going to be 80. We need 83, so we could just kind of tuck 3 extras somewhere in here. Get all of these connected together, and then yeah, we are good to go. So that is our 83. So now we just need to get some power in here. Last but not least, we need some water. Okay, and that is a 4-reactor build. All right, and now for our 6-reactor build. So we're going to have 6 reactors, and we're just going to do something similar to what we've done for the others. Okay, so for 6 reactors, this is going to be producing a whopping 800 megawatts worth of power. So if you remember from our diagrams, the corners are 3 and the sides with reactors on both sides are 4. So this is 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, 20. So that means we need 80 heat exchangers. So 80 heat exchangers will be producing 8,240 steam. The 8,240 steam is going to give us 137.33 steam turbines, or basically 138. So for the heat exchangers, we're going to do the same thing that we've done with the others, have a double coming out. That way it connects with both of the heat exchangers. Sorry, both of, no, we're going to just connect them here. We're going to need heat exchangers in the middle. So if we need 80, then we need 20 on both sides. So this is 5. 10, 15, 20. The steam will need to come out. Water, we're just going to have go out somewhere over here. And we are going to copy this, vertically flip. And then we're going to copy all of this and horizontally flip. With the steam turbines, we're going to try to keep these a little bit closer. So that is 14. Another 10 brings us to 24. And another 10 brings us to 34. So we intentionally left some room in here because we are, one, going to be connecting all the steam together. And two, we need to leave room for some power substations. Okay, so this is 34. And we're going to try to copy and paste this the best we can. We're going to take all of this and horizontally flip. Some of this is not going to line up right. That's okay. We're just going to shift that in. Okay, so this brings us to 136. We need 138. And there is our 138. I'm going to go ahead and connect all of this together. And even though it is all connected together, if you just really wanted to, you could connect these here as well. So now we just need some power. Power and water. So we're going to need something somewhere up here in the middle. Nope, nope, nope. We're going to do the corners. We will also need power for these in the middle. Let's just keep it somewhat symmetrical. It's not going to end up symmetrical, but that is fine. We're going to need some, we're going to need one either side here. One somewhere in the middle. And then just somewhere here on the outside. All right, and that is going to be our 6 heat exchanger build. The water can just come out through here. And it doesn't matter which corner, whatever corner that you have to connect it with is perfectly fine. And we are just going to make a blueprint out of that. Okay, and finally, we are going to be making an 8 reactor. This is going to give us a whopping 1.1 gigawatts worth of power. You know the drill? So we're going to be swapping it up a little bit this time because the heat exchangers will be a little bit farther away. We're going to bump this up to 600. Okay, so with 8 reactors, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So that is going to give us 112 heat exchangers. The 112 heat exchangers will be producing 11,536 steam. This 11,536 steam will give us, will feed 192.26 steam turbines, or basically 193. So we are going to kind of, similar to how we've had this set up, we're going to have doubles coming out of this. We're actually going to have singles coming out from here, because we want to try to connect all of them together if possible. So these are just going to go down like this. We are going to have 7 heat exchangers. And we're going to copy this, vertically flip. We're going to copy all of these. And horizontally flip. So the hardest part about the steam turbines is going to actually be, we're actually going to underground both of these. This is so that they don't cross, and we're just going to have one line coming right out through the middle. The hardest part is going to be getting the substations in. So we're just going to have these 3 wide, I think. Maybe 2 wide. Yeah, it looks like 2. And since we're a little bit farther down on this side, let's see, how many is this? This is 48, so we need a little bit more. Quite a little bit more, actually. So that is 68. That is still not enough. That'll give us, what? 136? We need 193. That's probably too much. So if we wanted to connect all of this together, which we probably do because we have an odd amount, we're just going to maybe have one sneak in here somewhere. That is our 193. This is 96. So we're going to copy this, horizontally flip. And that should give us a grand total of 193. So from there, we just need power. So for the power on the inside, we're just going to put these here. That should cover everything. Yep. Except for this one up here. That's fine. He can get one up there by himself. Oh, just barely not enough. It was so close. Doesn't really matter. These are all going to get power once you connect to the outer areas, and then that is going to go. And then the water, same thing. It can just go wherever you need it to go. In my case, it is going there. Okay, and that is going to be our last nuclear reactor build. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you want the blueprints that we have just created, then join my Discord. I give those away freely. The link is in the description. And yeah, I will see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.